Now let's get started with our firecracker design. This is a very interesting design to make, but you will have to do a lot of copy and paste operations, so do prepare yourself. We're going to start by creating the top of our firecracker, which is actually a hexagonal shape like this, but in Gravit they call it square 6. So I'm going to bring this out, bring it to the top of my design, and change the fill color to a color on my color scheme. I'm going to use, I'm going to use the second red for this. It's really up to you what red shade you want. Next, I'm going to add another of this square 6 shape, shrink it a bit smaller. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete the fill and add a border, which is a gold color from my color scheme. So I'm going to use this warm yellow here. Okay, you can also change the thickness of your border by playing with the number. Okay, and after you're done, bring it on top of your previous hexagonal shape. I'm going to make it a bit bigger and align it nicely in the middle. Okay, I shall change this to a thickness of 5. Enter. There we go. Okay, now we're going to create the body for the firecracker. So to start off with, I'm going to create a rectangular guide for me so I know where to align my firecrackers. So bring out a square, shrink it to create a rectangle. Okay, pop it into the middle of your design and just stretch it a bit longer so you have enough space to put all your firecrackers on the sides. Okay, once done, I'm going to change the fill color to match that of my hexagonal shape. So this red over here. Once done, I'm going to start working on my firecrackers. So to do this is very easy. Bring up a square shape, stretch it or squash it to create a rectangular shape. And if you want to, you can actually round the corners to make it less boxy. Okay, so that's what I've done here. And I'm going to change the fill color to a slightly different red from my base design. So I'm going to use the lighter shade of red here, just slightly lighter. Okay, but it's really up to you what you want. Now I'm going to just shrink it a bit smaller. Okay, oops, that's a bit too much. Okay, I think this is good. You can always adjust the size later. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to slant it downwards a bit. So just use the rotate tool and rotate downwards a bit, just a bit like that. Okay, once done, I'm going to pop it to the side of my long rectangle here, and I'm going to copy and paste and bring one to the other side. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, pull out to the other side, and I'm going to do a horizontal flip. Okay, position it nicely such that it's a mirror image. Okay, make sure both are sort of touching that rectangular string you have. Okay, now this is the fun part. We're going to select these two rectangles here and just copy paste many times to create a series of firecrackers. So to do this, click on one of your rectangle shapes, hold shift and click on the other one. So this allows you to click a few shapes at once. Once done, you can do your copy paste. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, pull out, put the next copy below. You can use your arrow keys to help you arrange and adjust nicely as well. Okay, I'm going to create a little bit of gap between each set of firecrackers. Once done, copy paste, Ctrl C, Ctrl V again, pull out. Ctrl C, Ctrl V again, pull out. Okay, and so keep repeating this copy paste operation for as many firecrackers as you want. Okay, so I think I have about 12 here. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm going to just stop here. It's up to you how many you want, so you can copy and paste as many as you want. Okay, now I'm going to create the tassel of my firecracker. So for the tassel part, I'm just going to use a shield number 3 shape that looks like a tongue. Flip it upside down vertical and change the fill color to match one of the red colors of my design. I'm going to use the deeper red that I've used for the top part of the firecracker. And then I'm just going to shrink it a bit smaller, pop it to the bottom of my design, and maybe just stretch it longer a bit. Okay, so this is the bottom part of my firecracker. If you find that your firecracker looks a bit too long, you can always carefully select them and just squish them in a bit. Okay, so they're not as long and sticking out too much. Okay, now the fun part, we're going to add a Chinese character Fu, which represents wealth. So how to do this is to go to Google and search for the Fu character. So I'm going to go to Google first as a search engine and look for the Chinese character. So Fu Chinese. Okay, once done, you will see that the very first search that you get is a Wikipedia finding, and you will see the Chinese word Fu over here that you can copy out. So just highlight the word, Ctrl C copy, go to Gravit, Ctrl V to paste. Okay, and you will see the word here. If you see it as a box, it means that Gravit doesn't recognize that character. So what you need to do is just to change the font to find a font that has that Chinese character. Okay, so you can choose this font, Noto Sans CJK, or something that I personally like is one that starts with the Z. It's called Z Cool. So I'm going to show you all the way at the bottom. Yes, there is this font called Z Cool Kuai Le. Okay, when you click this, it actually creates a very interesting Fu character. If it's too small, just change the size of your font here. Okay, so I'm going to increase it to maybe about, this looks like a good size, 67, okay, or the 60s, and then just bring it on top and put it right on top of my firecracker. Still a bit small, so let me make it just a bit bigger. Okay, 90-ish seems to be a good size. Pop it on top in the middle. And because the Chinese is better not to use black, I would use a very deep red for this, but really it's entirely up to you what color you want. Okay, so with this is how you create your simple firecracker design.